Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Car and Bike Show. Here we bring you some exclusive stories and the hottest news items of the week. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to Car and Bike and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on an update from the channel. This week we begin with a name that has been on the lips of many automotive enthusiasts in India. I'm talking about Tesla. Now you see, Tesla is reportedly renewing its interest in the Indian market and is looking to begin production right here. But what is the true picture? Here is what we know.
The topic of Tesla's much-awaited India entry has swung in and out of the news cycle for the last few years. Not too long ago, Tesla was understood to be evaluating bringing its models to India as full imports and had even appointed executives to oversee its India entry. After continued attempts to convince the central government to waive off hefty import duties on its cars bore no fruit, Tesla put its India team on ice, with some executives being reassigned to other markets. However, more recent reports state Tesla is now keen on manufacturing its vehicles in India itself and is evaluating setting up a vehicle plant right here. This plant is reportedly going to produce Tesla's most affordable car yet, an EV with a targeted sticker price of $24,000 or about 20 lakh rupees in our money. While this news is certainly encouraging, it has to be viewed through the prism of subdued optimism. Tesla's affordable EV is in the works, but it is yet to even be showcased, so any speculation about its India launch is purely guesswork at this point. Local manufacturing will surely aid Tesla as far as reducing costs and enabling vertical integration goes. However, setting up a supply chain and establishing a vehicle manufacturing plant along with the sourcing of battery packs and other vital EV components locally will take a considerable amount of time. So while India may be on Tesla's radar in the near term, it's unlikely that you will be able to buy a made in India Tesla in the coming year or two. And even when it does arrive, Tesla is unlikely to have a free run in the market, considering what leading car makers such as Tata Motors, Maruti Suzuki, Mahindra and Hyundai have lined up in terms of EV launches. Still, Tesla has overcome steep challenges in the past, so it will be interesting to see how its India strategy plays out in the time to come.
Next up, we move on to motorcycles, and this week we have news of the return of two legendary nameplates. One of them has still been around for quite some time, the Royal Enfield Bullet 350, and one of them is making a comeback after a hiatus, the all-new Hero Charisma.
Royal Enfield is all set to launch the latest generation model of the legendary Bullet 350 at the end of August. The all-new Bullet 350 is the only 350cc Royal Enfield left to be updated with the new J Series 350cc engine, which debuted with the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. The all-new Bullet will also get the double cradle chassis used in the classic 350 and is expected to get new suspension, wider tires and better brakes with optional dual channel ABS. The new Bullet 350 is also likely to get some cosmetic updates, including an updated instrument console, new headlight and taillight as well as new turn indicators. The new Bullet will likely be slightly more expensive than the outgoing model, but will still be one of the more affordable Royal Enfield motorcycles, with its prices expected to start under 1,75,000 rupees. Yet another motorcycling icon making its return is the Hero Charisma, which is set to be launched in an all-new avatar on August 29. Earlier this month, the new Charisma XMR 210 was revealed in leaked patent images, which gave out a lot of details about its design and the details of the upcoming motorcycle. The new Charisma XMR will be powered by an all-new liquid-cooled engine, which is Hero's first liquid-cooled engine with a displacement of around 210cc and with an output expected to be around 25 bhp and 30 Nm of torque. The engine is expected to be paired with a 6-speed gearbox. It will be mounted on a single-piece tubular steel frame, and the bike will have fully fed bodywork with raised clip-on handlebars. Expect prices for the new Charisma to start at under 2 lakh rupees.
And while we are talking about Hero MotoCorp, there is more news from Hero, as we now know it will be bringing another one of its partners, Zero Motorcycles, to India very soon. Zero makes electric motorcycles in the US and is set to launch those here very soon. Here is what we know about this news.
In its annual report, Hero MotoCorp has revealed it will soon be introducing the Zero motorcycles portfolio in the Indian market, and Zero's model will also be manufactured in the country. The company's statement also outlines how the partnership enables the marriage of Zero's expertise in building electric two-wheelers with Hero's manufacturing, sourcing, marketing and distribution capabilities. Zero's model lineup, which is currently only manufactured at the company's facility in Scotts Valley, comprises dual sport models, naked bikes, an adventure tourer as well as a fully fed sport bike. All motorcycles employ battery packs ranging from 7.2 kWh to 17.3 kWh in capacity, with price tags ranging from $13,000 to $25,000 before local incentives, which translates to 10 lakh to 20 lakh rupees in our currency. It is unclear at this stage which of Zero's existing models will make it to India and where exactly will they be built. It also remains to be seen if Hero opts to pursue a hybrid model strategy with Zero like it does with Harley-Davidson, where most models are sold in India as direct imports with the exception of the new, locally developed and manufactured Harley-Davidson X440. Even if the current Zero portfolio is localized, the bikes would still be pretty expensive owing to their large battery packs. It is quite likely that Hero may co-develop a more accessible Zero electric motorcycle, which could also help Zero tap into other developing markets.
And that is a wrap for this week's news section. Now we move on to a story about two Marutis. One of them has been extremely popular since its launch in 2016, and the other is starting to make inroads since its launch this year. They're both quite similar in certain ways, but do have different use cases. Here is Shams with the story.
No other segment is as loaded as the subcompact SUV segment in our country. The Maruti Suzuki Brezza has been a bestseller here, while another car from the brand, albeit from Nexa, has just made its way to the market. The Fronx is a crossover based on the Baleno and looks the part too. Both cars are quite similarly priced, which makes things even more interesting.
There's a lot that unites them, but there's a lot that separates them as well. So which of these two, the Maruti Suzuki Brezza or the Maruti Suzuki Fronx, fits in your requirements in a much better way? Today we are trying to help you decode and decide. But before that, if you still haven't, please do subscribe to Car&bike, and if you like this video, please do share it and like it, and also do not forget to press that bell icon for all the latest updates from Car&bike. The length of both these cars is exactly the same to the millimeter, but unsurprisingly, the Brezza is taller and wider when compared to the Fronx. However, what is surprising is the fact that the Fronx gets a slightly longer wheelbase. Does that result in a bigger cabin space? We'll find out soon. But even in terms of design and looks, there's a clear distinction between Arena and Nexa from Maruti Suzuki. This car pretty much looks like a part of a larger family that has cars like the Grand Vitara or the Invicto, the one that came recently. So the tri-LED pattern here, the chrome slat here on the grille, the use of piano black on the grille as well. Headlamps may be slightly distinct, but yes, this is a distinctive family face on the Fronx. The Brezza has a completely different identity of its own. Looks quite different from all other cars from Arena as well. You tend to like that, and I spoke about dimensions. Looks like a much bigger car, a much better SUV stance on this one. Talking about the profile, both cars get 16-inch alloy wheels on these top trims, and both have these nice looking square wheel arches with cladding which give you a good SUV feel. Both have roof rails as well, so that looks nice. But there are some key differences as well. Yes, you have cladding on the doors on both the cars, but the one on the Fronx looks more appealing with more colors, and importantly, the Brezza gets a slightly higher ground clearance.
The design language of both cars is quite impressive from the rear. But clearly, as a product that has come only this year, the look on the Fronx is fresher. It's a car that appeals to you, and Maruti has managed to make it look sporty enough, if not more. The connecting tail lamps are clearly a highlight here.
If you love a lot of features in your car, you will like both the Fronx as well as the Brezza. The list of feature list is long and it's common to both these cars. The highlight is the 9-inch Smart Play Pro Plus infotainment system. It comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, the look is slightly different. You get a bit more colors on the Brezza. You also get a whole lot of connectivity features as well as a 360 view camera. That is a great practical feature to have on your car. The instrument cluster is the same on both the cars with 2 analog dials and 1 MID right in the center. Apart from that, you also get a head-up display, a flat bottom steering wheel, climate control as well as a wireless charger on both the cars. However, I like the placement of the wireless charger better on the Fronx. I think it holds the phone in a much better way. But what's missing here on the Fronx is a sunroof. You get that on the Brezza.
A lot of features though are available only in this turbo version of the Fronx, as the 1.2 litre model is being offered only in lower, Sigma and Delta trims. Over to Brezza, and the better width and height clearly shows in the cabin, and tall people will like that. However, Maruti Suzuki can think about giving some more features in both these cars. For example, seat ventilation.
Space is quite decent on the Brezza. Looking at its sub 4 meter length, you get rear AC vents as well as Type A and Type C charging points. There's also a center armrest with cup holders, and with the latest update on the car, you also get seatbelt reminders even for the second row. Adjustable headrests for 2 passengers, 3-point seat belts for 2 passengers, while on the Fronx, you have adjustable headrests and 3-point seat belts for all the 3 passengers here on the second row.
Talking about boot space, as expected, it is the Brezza that is ahead, but only slightly. For its dimensions, the figure actually is quite impressive on the Fronx. There's a spread of 3 different engines on these 2 cars, and as is now the case with all products from the brand, all are petrol, but no strong hybrid options here.
What really works for the Fronx is the wide range of engine and gearbox options this car comes with. Starts with the 1.2 litre naturally aspirated engine at the lower end, which comes with both 5-speed manual and 5-speed AMT as we've seen on the Baleno. But what I'm driving is the one that comes at the higher end, which is the 1 litre turbo engine on the car. And here you get the option of either a 5-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic with paddle shifts, just like the Brezza. No dearth of power or torque on this turbo engine as well. Roughly the same power as the Brezza, but much higher torque figure. Definitely makes your drive much more exciting. Response from the setup is quite good. The pickup is fast as well, and what you really like, especially if you love to drive, is the notchy feeling you get from this manual gear shift on the car. And no matter which variant, which trim you're driving, both the engines, either manual or automatic, you're guaranteed at least 20 kilometers per litre on the Fronx, especially with respect to this turbo engine and the automatic or even the manual gearbox that we're driving right now. That is a really impressive figure when it comes to fuel efficiency. So essentially you are getting the best of both worlds, a spirited, enthusiastic drive with a great fuel economy figure.
And the good thing is that the idle start-stop system, which aids in slightly better fuel efficiency, is standard on all the variants of the Fronx. So how do these figures compare with the Brezza, and how does the performance of the engine differ? It was time to get behind the wheel.
This K15C petrol engine has really made things better on the Brezza, especially if you like more fuel efficiency. A recent update though on the car has meant that the smart hybrid system with idle start-stop is available only on the automatics and not on the manual, which means now it is one of those few cars in the market where there's a significant difference between the fuel efficiency of manual and automatic, and automatic is much more than the manual. Good power as well on this car, more than 100 bhp, approximately 102 bhp on the Brezza, so you won't really complain on that front with this SUV. The gear shifts are nice and smooth too, both on the automatic as well as the manual, especially while downshifting. You don't really feel the need to downshift a lot owing to the good torque figure on the vehicle. And even though right now I'm sampling the 5-speed manual gearbox on the Brezza, the addition of the 6-speed automatic in this new generation has also really enhanced the character of the car a lot more. When it comes to ride quality, nothing really to complain about. Suspension works well, roads are good or bad, doesn't really matter. The car takes them on really nicely. With respect to handling, yes, this is a tall car with a proper SUV stance, so you can expect a bit of body roll, especially while turning at high speeds. It is taller than the Fronx, and you can see the difference when it comes to handling.
The character of the 1-liter turbo mill on the Fronx is matched well with the suspension setup, as you get a ride that's a bit on the stiffer side. You may love that as a driver, but there's a chance the family members sitting behind may not be entirely happy.
But one thing that is absolutely fantastic on this crossover SUV is the way it handles. It just gives you so much confidence. The compact dimensions really come into play here, so it doesn't matter if you're driving on a straight road at high speeds, you have great stability. While taking corners at high speeds, you get great confidence as well. I only wish the steering wheel could have been even more responsive than what it is, would have made the experience even better on the Fronx. Now you get to hear the sweet sound of this 1-liter turbo mill on the car. I, as a driver, like that. The drive on the Brezza is much more silent, so definitely a matter of personal choice on how you want your in-cabin drive experience to be.
When it comes to cars from Maruti Suzuki, safety always comes up for discussion, and both these cars come with 6 airbags at least in these top trims. Other common safety features include hill hold assist, ESP and ISOFIX child seat mounts. We are still awaiting the crash test results of both these cars. And finally, the prices. The Brezza starts lower than the Fronx turbo variants, but then the starting price of the 1.2-liter model is in turn lower than the Brezza. At the top end though, the Fronx turbo automatic comes at a premium when compared to the Brezza.
Now this is a clear case where one car feels bigger than the other. The Brezza is a great example of how a sub 4-meter SUV should be, especially when it comes to design and practicality. On the other hand, it is really difficult to match the driving feel you get out of the 1-liter turbo engine on the new Fronx. Well, the new kid on the block has certainly lived up to expectations, and the character of these two cars is so different from each other that as a buyer, you won't really have a difficult time in choosing which one suits you more. Interesting lineup that, the Brezza and the Fronx. Now from 4 wheels we move on to 2 wheels, and this time around we're discussing scooters. And that big question, should you be buying an electric scooter or a petrol powered one? Hello and welcome to this special discussion on Car and Bike, and today we're discussing 2-wheelers. And for the last 1 or 2 years, a lot of discussion around 2-wheelers has been around electric 2-wheelers, right Preetham?
Correct.
You know how they are, the running cost is much cheaper, environment friendly. But now with the revision in FAME 2 subsidies, these scooters have become more expensive than what they were. So is it time to now think again about the petrol powered scooters?
Well, yes, the fact of the matter is that running costs of electric scooters are still economically more viable than petrol powered scooters, but the outright cost of any electric scooter that you can think of, a decent electric scooter, has become much more expensive than a petrol powered scooter. So yes, outright cost, if you look at the outright cost, a petrol powered scooter still makes sense if your running cost isn't, if your running distance, daily distance isn't that much.
Okay, so it's been a while, but today let us discuss those petrol powered scooters, you know, and how much we're going to spend on those scooters, what are the good options in the market right now, and probably begin with some of the more affordable ones.
Yes, of course, we have the 110cc's, there are many of them, but we'll discuss the main popular ones. Of course, the Honda Activa, the king of the segment.
Of course, absolutely. The highest selling scooter.
Highest selling scooter, highest selling two-wheeler also at some points. And you can purchase a Honda Activa, the 110cc 6G, from as low as 76,234 rupees, going up to 82,234 rupees. Whereas even a base electric scooter now costs upwards of 1 lakh, going up to 1.6 lakhs. So that's almost, if you look at Ather 450 or even a Chetak, That's almost, the Activa still comes at almost half the price or maybe 40%
What?
less.
Tell me, what's the magic behind the name Activa? It's like the splendor of scooters, right? The most popular for so many years now.
Correct, yeah, because Honda actually struck gold with the Activa. I mean, before that, the automatic scooter was dominated by the Kinetic Honda, the two-stroke era, right?
Correct.
And Honda started the Activa when motorcycles were all the rage. The convenience of an automatic scooter, the running cost, the smoothness, the easy rideability.
Right.
It just took over by a storm, and it's become the highest selling scooter and has been the highest selling scooter.
Continues to be.
But
what are the other options we have in this segment?
Well, another option which is very popular and a very well-rounded product is the TVS Jupiter. That's also a very good scooter in that segment.
Absolutely.
And it's also quite popular, not as popular as the Honda Activa, but the TVS Jupiter is a very well-rounded product in that segment as well. And even prices, the starting price of the Jupiter is actually less than the Activa. So if you look at the base model, it comes at around 73,000 rupees, 7,240 rupees ex-showroom, goes up to about 89,000 for the Smart Connect with all the features, and the Classic Edition is the top spec. So, but the Jupiter 110 is also a very good option for a scooter buyer in its segment. But I have had friends, tall guys who feel that this Jupiter feels a little cramped. So you may want to take a test ride, especially for someone like you. You may find a Jupiter a little bit cramped, but as a product, it still is a very good option in that segment.
It has its USPs, from lower price to connectivity features.
Connectivity features, external fuel filler, 21-liter under-seat storage. So it's a very handy and practical scooter. So, if you are bored of seeing the Activa, then you can very well consider the TVS Jupiter. But again, if you're a tall guy like you, you may want to take a test ride and see if you feel cramped. Because
what if I don't like both, the Activa or the Jupiter?
Oh, then you have a brand new option from the biggest two-wheeler manufacturer, which you've ridden, of course, the Hero Zoom.
Of course, yeah. I have ridden the Zoom, yeah. It's quite a good experience riding a scooter, it's almost like that moto scooter feel.
Yeah.
So more agile, good design as well. You like that?
It's quite smart looking.
And it's got that segment first or industry first feature that people have been
cornering lights on the top variant, right?
The cornering lights, yeah. So it's good that they're trying to give you more features in the lower segments as well, right?
Yeah.
So quite a good number of options that we have in this space,
Correct.
This entry level segment in scooters. But if you move ahead, if you move one segment above, you go to 125. I think the list of options is increased even more now.
Even more so, yeah, because the 125cc scooter segment has increased so much that you have every budget, every style, all kinds of different styles. Who have, some people want to buy a scooter the whole family can use.
Okay.
And actually, the Suzuki Access 125, the king of the 125cc segment, largest selling scooter, is quite a good option in that it's frugal to run, very good fuel economy. The outright purchase cost is very less. You can buy it from as much as 79,000 odd ex-showroom, going up to about 89,000 for a top spec variant.
Good price for a 125.
Good price. It's light on its feet, very easy to ride, very easy to handle, handles brilliantly, ride quality is fantastic. So the Access 125, the only thing is, and the styling. The styling is not very radical, it's like a very universally appealing styling. So
maybe safe also.
Safe styling, going up from the Suzuki Access, then you have the Yamaha Razia, the hybrids 125, of course.
Correct,
that's Yamaha only makes 125.
Only makes 125 now, so
that's also there. And then you have the most flashy scooter in this segment, which is of course one of the best 125s in terms of dynamics and performance and features, is the TVS Ntorq 125.
It's been doing quite well also in the market.
Yeah, it's been doing quite well, and lots of color options, sport edition, special Marvel themed for the young at heart. So the TVS Ntorq starts at about 84,000 rupees ex-showroom, goes up to over 1,04,000.
Yeah, also gets turn-by-turn navigation.
Yes, all those features. It gets a Smart Connect features, turn-by-turn navigation, very sporty. You can also do, I have a friend who does regularly from Manesar to Delhi on the Ntorq, and he's very happy with it.
Right.
It's like, I cover more distances, why should I drive?
So almost the feel of a motorcycle also, right?
Almost the feel of a motorcycle, and he's like, he used to ride a 110cc scooter earlier, ever since he bought the Ntorq. Like, I can actually keep up with the traffic on the highway effortlessly. So the Ntorq, if you're covering long distance, is very comfortable, very stable, handles very well. So quite a good scooter in that sense, and quite a well-rounded scooter in the 125cc segment in that sense.
Right. Anything else?
Well, there's the brand new sort of return of one of the snazziest, funkiest scooters which started this whole stylish scooter trend, the Honda Dio 125, which has recently been launched. That also you can get from about 83,400 rupees ex-showroom and goes up to about 91,000.
That's a big difference when you compare to electric two-wheelers.
Yeah.
All these prices.
Yeah, the electric scooters now, I mean, you look at the prices, they've really gone up. The Chetak, expensive. Even the, the Greaves Electric Mobility launched recently a few months ago. We'd gone to ride the Ampere Primus. Even that one is close to 1.4 lakhs now.
Yeah.
So the Vida V1 again from Hero is a good scooter. Even
1.5.
That's almost double the price of the Hero Zoom that you rode. So just imagine the price difference, the outright price difference. If you think of it, running cost, the electric scooters may make sense, but in that segment, people also think about the outright investment.
I'm going to put you on a spot finally. You have to pick one for me from 110 and 125cc segments.
Okay.
As a personal rider, if not for the larger audience, what would you prefer to ride? Which is it a moto scooter style you like more? Is it like a conventional design of the axis? As a rider, what do you like more?
From the 125cc segment, I would pick the TVS Ntorq 125, but there's also the Suzuki Avenis 125.
Yeah.
Same platform as the Suzuki Access, but slightly more sportier looking, snazzy, very youthful looking scooter. That's also a very good scooter, but my pick still is the TVS Ntorq 125. 110, the Activa, of course, it now gets telescopic front suspension. It's improved a lot. It gets edge smart, but I feel the TVS Jupiter for me. But with your height, I suspect you could feel cramped with the TVS Jupiter.
Yes.
But the Honda Activa is a no-brainer really. It ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
And 3-4 years down the line, if you want to replace it, it gets very good resale value. So it's no-brainer is the Honda Activa default choice. 125cc, for me, it's still the TVS Ntorq 125. But if you want to have a scooter which everybody wants to ride, the Suzuki Access.
The Access. So there you go. A lot of good options in the petrol powered scooter segment, both in 125 as well as 110cc segment. So if you also were thinking about buying an electric two-wheeler, but now you're probably thinking of, again going back and buying a petrol powered scooter, and which one is your choice amongst all the scooters we discussed today. Thank you so much for watching.
And of course, if you ride a two-wheeler, please always wear a helmet. Don't forget to strap it on tight and obey all traffic rules. Ride under the speed limit, please. Stay safe, be home safe and sound, and enjoy your ride. Thank you so much.
That's all that we could pack in on this episode of the Car and Bike Show. As usual, we're waiting for your feedback. Please do write into us with your comments and suggestions. Our Twitter handle is Car and Bike. See you next time with a lot more content from the world of automobiles. Till then, drive safe, do wear your seatbelts, and of course, do wear your helmets.